With EC3 calling out corporate wrestling and Cesaro wanting to face Brock Lesnar, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for November 2nd. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. When he was in WWE, Tyler Breeze was a part of the ESPN E60 documentary. In an interview with Renee Paquette, Breeze detailed his role in the Behind the Curtain special, saying he was nearly fired. Well, Triple H tells us at the end of one of these meetings, at the end of the tapings, that the E60 thing we were doing was supposed to have a couple of guys who made it, a couple of guys who we don't know, and a couple of guys who got fired. Me and Big Cass were supposed to be the two that got fired. During the time I found Tyler Breeze, and he found his thing with Enzo, and it completely 180'd, and all of a sudden they were like, we can't fire these guys, they're doing good now. He said that for the first time in front of everybody, and we went, oh my god, the thing we were excited about, we were going to get fired at the end of? We had no idea. It was Breeze's gimmick that would end up saving him from losing his job, as he noted. I worked with Sammy, that was the test. After that I worked with Neville, and then I worked a Fatal 4-Way with me, Neville, and TJ, then I worked with Kenta, Finn, and I essentially worked with everybody they were going to go with. It wasn't so much a push, as opposed to that I can be a reliable guy that you can toss in there with whoever you like, and we can make them look really good. I think Triple H even said a couple of times that there's a certain quality that some guys have and some guys don't. He said you can basically lift people up to a certain level without bringing yourself down to a different level. You can keep yourself a star while bringing them up to a certain star level as well. Obviously, if you're introducing somebody like a Finn, Kenta, or whoever, that is a huge thing, because the first impression of a new person, we have to knock it out of the park if we're going with them, or if they're heading towards being a main event guy or an NXT champion. You need somebody like that gatekeeper to go, hey guys, welcome. This is what they can do, by the way. Of course, Breeze would be released from WWE in June, as he is now a free agent in the world of wrestling. Following her positive health update on her father Hulk Hogan, Brooke Hogan sat down with Hollywood Raw to talk about life in the public eye. Our family has been through a lot of crap, and I will say, my dad, it's hard to have all of your skeletons pulled out of your closet and just waved in front of everybody's face and humiliated to the world. And then our family just goes through all this stuff. He has stayed so graceful through it all. I talked to him yesterday. I said, it has to be hard for you because it's like you've got so many people poking at you, and you can never poke back. You can never say, yeah, I messed up, but this person did this too. You can't ever throw shade back, because then it just makes you look worse when people are. It's so hard. He always has to take the high road. He always has to just sit down, shut up, follow the rules, not piss anybody off. So it's hard to have that control and just always remain graceful in the worst situation. So he's real. He's like, hey, this is how I messed up, or this is how I'm feeling. He communicates, and he's, like I said, just a gentle giant. With him no longer under a WWE non-compete clause, Bray Wyatt is free to sign with another promotion, as he recently turned down an offer from Impact Wrestling. Tattoo artist Kyle A. Scarborough, who created the Fiend mask, took to Twitter to show off the original concept for the Burnt Fiend mask, as he wrote, "The 2-hour deadline Burnt Fiend concept, major rush job, but out of my control. Wanted to show exposed skull and dripping flesh. I was given the impression my concept was used when it wasn't, but that's a whole other story for a later time. For the record, I liked what was used fine. The mask build was great, though I do think the design was a bit flat. Design came from their in-house people apparently. Either way, the blame was placed on Brother Love, so if you liked it, blame him." Last week, Cesaro hinted at facing Brock Lesnar after SmackDown. Now, speaking to Manchester Evening News, he touched on his recent tweet regarding Brock, saying he would love to wrestle him. "I feel like wrestling Lesnar would be up there. It would be a big challenge and something fun to do. Doing my absolute best. The match with Walter will be a big match. The reputation we've both built over the years, the match with Brock Lesnar, which you've just mentioned, that would be another awesome match." To me, it's really cool because it was just one picture and everyone ran wild with it simply based off the reputation that I have and that he has. To me, it's really cool to see that I've built up a relationship with the fans so that they know whenever I get into the ring with someone of that caliber, whoever it is, it's going to be great. It's a challenge to keep doing that, keep performing, keep having these matches that people want to see. If I do that, they always find new ways to keep things fresh and keep it interesting. Brock Lesnar looks to be busy in his feud with Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman has we'll have to see what is next for the Beast. Speaking of Cesaro, he said this in that same interview about having a dream match with NXT UK star Walter. He's somebody I always wanted to face. We have a similar background, coming up through pretty much the same ranks in Europe and then traveling the world. I'm very excited that this is going to happen. I'm even more excited to see how excited the fans are to see the match. The fact that it's only on live events makes me strangely excited because it just means it's hopefully a legendary match that lives on in people's heads. The fact that it's happening in England and Europe is very special. It's cool to see that England gets something special. I still think we should run a pay-per-view over in England. The fact that they get this match and people are excited for it makes me feel really good. During WWE's upcoming UK tour, this match will take place, with it expected to be one for the ages. In a quick update, many are wondering where AJ Styles has been with him absent from consecutive episodes of Raw. Last week, it was rumored that he was suffering from an injury, as it was reported on the Wrestling Observer Radio recently that AJ's got a non-injury medical issue, is what I was told. I'm sure he's going to yell and scream about it at some point, but that is what they said. A non-injury medical issue. AJ last was seen at Crown Jewel with him wrestling for the Raw Tag Team titles. Since he is now signed to WWE and has been drafted, a Raw Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson seems to be getting ready for his big break in pro wrestling. Recently, he spoke on After the Bell, talking about how he's been compared to the likes of Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle. People compare me to Angle and Lesnar. It's actually really cool. Kurt Angle is a legend. They're both Hall of Famers at the end of the day. To be compared to those guys is something crazy. It's good and bad. Kurt won a gold medal and I won a gold medal. The difference is he had a broken neck and I won it in the last 1 second. My gold medal doesn't exist because if I don't have a broken neck, it's gone. At the end of the day, my goal is to be the best version of Gable, not Kurt Angle, not Brock Lesnar. Even with their support and their look, I want to be the person I want to be. With him having a remote training facility, it seems WWE is going all in on his future debut and run for the company. This year, WWE released many, including Killian Dain. He's now going by the name Big Damo, with him apparently let go because he was not Vince McMahon's type of guy. Now he's taken to Twitter to show off his new look, as he wrote, "Never mind me, just having the time of my life in Dublin and Belfast with OTT Wrestling. Cannot wait to return. Fun seminar today with NXT Wrestling. Great effort on a cold Monday night in Cardiff. Next stop seminars Thursday and Friday, Source Wrestling School in Glasgow, then Rev Pro UK on Saturday." With him previously saying the release from WWE was just the kick he needed to complete his bucket list, it should be interesting to see where he goes from here. AEW star The Blade went on Instagram yesterday to touch on his struggles with mental health and revealed how AEW helped with his issues. "Hello, my name is Jesse and I struggle with anxiety, depression, and confidence issues. I first noticed an extreme spike in these feelings during the pandemic, which also made me realize I've suffered from these issues all of my life. I just didn't recognize what they were until then, so I reached out for help from some friends and family, tried a couple therapists, and thought I had it under control from self-management, until I had another spike recently. So I took more drastic measures this time and talked to the executives at All Elite Wrestling. Getting the courage to speak to them was more difficult than it sounds, and I'd like to express a huge thank you to Doc Sampson, Mega Parek, Tony Khan, and everyone at AEW. While I'm not feeling the best, I simply remember that every response I've received from the people I've opened up to has been incredibly positive and supportive. It feels good to tell you this and to take off my mask. It helps to talk about my struggles instead of holding them inside, and I'm feeling more confident and comfortable around people. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry if I've been distant lately. I love you and I can't wait to see you soon." Following Ring of Honor releasing all of their wrestling talent amidst a rebranding effort, former ROH star EC3 took to YouTube to touch on the negatives of corporate wrestling. You've been lied to your whole life. I've been seeing this from April 2020, but I have known it for so much longer. This lie is so blatant, so vivid, so audacious. It's in your name, honor. Honor, as we've been taught, is a lie. There is no honor in what we do when we do it for them. Corporate wrestling, three-letter brands, the divisive, toxic, delusional bubble that is the pro wrestling community. It's all the same. Here's the bitter pill you must swallow. If you're a fan, if you're watching this, if it's successful to you, you're the problem. Now, if you're competed, if this is a dream, if you're a performer, then you are just a gear in the machine. You are cattle. You are cannon fodder. You are binary. You are numbers on the spreadsheet. It takes and it takes and it takes and it gives you nothing. There is no honor in what we do or if we do it for others, because our leaders have failed you. The only person that will not fail you is yourself. To my fallen brothers, now is the time to take control. You cannot play it safe. You must take the risk. You have to take the chance. You must jump head first into the unknown. I offer you my hand, and if you give your blood, I will give you your freedom. But if you grovel, if you conform, if you lay down, you will die. You do not get honor in the ring. You only get scars. A callous body, a callous mind, a callous soul. Honor comes from purpose. Honor comes when you choose to control your narrative. You've been warned. Ring of Honor has been involved in EC3's Free the Narrative promotion, which he owns. As remains to be seen how things go for the former WWE star. While he had an incredible match against Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel, Edge was not too thrilled about having to make the journey to Saudi Arabia, as he told the Kids on the Escalator podcast about the bout and the referee involved. I had SummerSlam coming up with Seth, and Charles Robinson wasn't going to be there. I'm at the stage of my career where I'm a little picky when it comes to who refs, because there is a comfort level when you find a zone together. It's one less thing as a talent that I have to concern myself with, because I know that person is going to be there. Charles wasn't going to be at SummerSlam, and I talked to him about Jess. Should we give her a shot because I've watched her and she's good? Let's see how she does. He thought it was a great idea. We took a test run at SummerSlam and she is so confident and really good. She wasn't shy or timid. She took control of the situation, and I always appreciate when someone does that. We had MSG and I said, I think you have to do part 2, kiddo. When they asked me about blowing off the story in Saudi Arabia, I wasn't too keen on going, I'll be honest. But as we talked and they said we need it there, I said let's get Jess to be ref there, not knowing if we'd be able to. I just love the idea of a woman being in control of 2 men in that country. If it flew over a lot of heads, whatever, but for me, I can come back to my girls one day and tell them I went over there. I think we did something cool. She was right there for everything, not overwhelmed by the moment, and stood up to the challenge. It was really cool to see. With Sasha Banks announced for WWE's UK tour, the company made the announcement where they ripped off a catchphrase from AEW Women's Champion Britt Baker, saying, "The boss will see you now. Liverpool, Leeds, Nottingham, Manchester, London, are you ready? Get your tickets now." Baker would respond by linking her shirts on shopaew.com with that catchphrase. This led to many attacking Baker, with them accusing Britt of stealing Bayley's role model gimmick and saying she is garbage in the ring. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I'm sorry I sound so stuffy today. Got bad allergies. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.